Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we ride off into the credits of the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert, and after you, Gerry.
I'm Gerald Christopher St. Onufrius. He was one of those desert father saints from the 4th or 5th century Egyptian. Do you know St. Onufrius?
No, but did he turn into San Onofre?
Exactly. I knew it. God, I knew it. And I have a little bit about that here for you, Peter.
I was sitting here trying to make lame Dune references, and you guys are like connecting over stuff I never heard of.
It's called a sunny place called California. If anybody has actually driven from L.A. to San Diego, you pass the San Onofre and you pass the town, I guess, of San Onofre, and the now closed nuclear generating station that's there. And I believe there's a desalination plant there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they were checking one out. They were testing one.
And speaking of checking out, that nuclear plant is famous for looking like an anatomical part.
Oh yeah, it is. Which, by the way, and you'll get this too, Pete. Do you remember? What's the famous Procter and Gamble building that had the exact same anatomical, funny architect looking thing? Was it in Cincinnati?
I don't know about that one. Probably, because that's where their headquarters are.
Yeah, and they the same kind of goofy.
Are you talking about like the sight gag from the Naked Gun? Where he's like, everywhere I look, I'm reminded of her. And they cut to like big...
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. It's exactly like that, yeah.
I just want to paint a picture for the audience, and in case anyone doesn't... Are we picturing giant spires? Are we picturing... Okay.
Yeah. Chartres Cathedral. No, yeah, I actually I got into looking up all these saints because, I understand Santa Barbara and San Diego. You're like, oh, that's James. But San Onofre, I was like, wait a minute, who is Saint Onofre? I'm not buying this. But he's a real dude. So there he is today.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. And then, what gets a little funny is they Latinize half these dudes. So they'll have it's like San Onofre. You're like, okay, I guess that's like a Spanish or whatever. But he's Saint Onofrius or Onufrius. Yeah. Porter.
And we are all here to talk about minute 121 of Last Crusade, which begins with Henry saying, after you, Junior, and ends with the credits. Oh my God, we're in the credits for the second unit directors.
So I thought I was kind of curious because, this when they filmed this was the end. Like, this was the last movie. Mm-hmm. And I was curious how the last line of this, after you, Junior.
Well, I wondered, is this the first time Indy's, heard that from his dad?
Well, it's nice because his dad kind of acknowledges that Indy's now able to make his own decisions. He's like, after you, like you're.
Well, what's funny is it certainly is regarding Elsa.
Mm-hmm. This time I'll be the next man, son.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Before it was, yeah.
There is actually a much better horse. Yeah.
Oh, and this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a good one. Yeah. It's not the It's this one, like Indy does the and it's good. It's a little bit like the Raiders one. He had that super kind of freaky guttural one.
But does it seem to you guys like the comes after the horse is already taking off? Like he seems to like rush the to get it in there because the horse is already on its way. He's sort of like, he's like, yes, sir. Oh, my horse is going. Like, it seems like he's got to get it in there. If you watch it again, it does seem like the timing's a little weird. Like he's caught unawares or something.
It's funny too because Marcus is kind of in dire straits here, and Takes his time to rescue him.
They have a little chat before they go keep him from getting his head bashed in.
Kind of have a last little Star Trek episode joke, and then they
Right. Someday we'll be back and we'll want a piece of the action. Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
You know, I looked at that. It's second 27, and you know, all four horsemen are riding off into the sunset. And Indy reaches over and it looks like he gives Marcus something. And I wondered, is he handing him back his dignity?
Yeah. By riding him on his horse, he's
Yeah.
It's the end of the movie, Marcus. Get it together.
Yeah. He's writing or stabilizing Marcus.
I mean, that's ostensibly why they're chasing after him like that in this triumphant way. They're off to save Marcus from falling off his horse.
Although it turns out Marcus, when you watch him riding off, is a great rider when you watch him. But yeah, I love it. I don't love it. It's hilarious. At the end of the movie is a gag at the expense of Marcus.
Yeah, they couldn't stop.
Yeah,
they couldn't give it up.
Yeah,
The bitter end.
He's now been upgraded to size 21 clown shoes.
Where are they riding though? Like, how long have they been riding? Because he kind of reaches over to stabilize Marcus in its bright sunlight, and then he reaches over again and kind of stabilizes Marcus, and they're riding into the sunset. Has he been stabilizing Marcus for 6 hours now?
He's got to stay with him the whole time.
Yes, he just And where are they going? Like, are they going to ride all night? Like, that seems really dangerous out in the desert.
They've set their controls for the heart of the sun.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, Pink Floyd. Okay.
It's a beautiful shot. Like, it's gorgeous. And it just goes on forever and ever. But if you look at the foliage, it doesn't really look like the desert. It looks like they're back in Europe or North America.
Oh, they could easily be on Skywalker Ranch or something.
Yeah. Well, it's too flat.
Right,
I think I don't know where they are.
Oh, yeah, probably.
There was something filmed in Texas. This might be that. I don't know. But it definitely doesn't look like they're in the Near East anymore.
I know this, like when you first saw this in the theater, it was like, okay, this is kind of bittersweet. This is the end of the trilogy. I'll never see Indiana Jones again. This is like a beautiful, perfect, they're literally riding into the sunset. They totally nailed that. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. But now isn't there like a different kind of bittersweetness to it where you're like, oh, and then they made another one. And this is like kind of a wasted, beautiful, perfect moment. All right. This isn't the end of the thing. This is, I don't know why they're riding off into the sunset. They're apparently not done. They got to come back for Crystal Skull, I guess.
Well, that's why I think you have to look at this like a trilogy, and then Crystal Skull has to be kind of its own thing. Because this was filmed like when they made this. This was the last movie. Like this.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars, the original trilogy, and then Star Wars, the prequels, and then Star Wars, a new trilogy. They're all different things, and you can't really think of them sometimes together. It's kind of hard to, and I think it's kind of like this and Crystal Skull.
Try to explain that to my son.
One thing I really like about this final scene and the way they end the Last Crusade is, and we, you discovered this as well as other people there, Pete, is, so Raiders begins with, Indy, avariciously going after the idol, and it's the artifact. That's all that matters here. You know what I mean? And they close out the entire franchise here, or the trilogy, with him letting go and discovering, of course, no, his relationship with his father is really the most important thing. Although what is tough is if it was completely up to Indy, he would have fallen down that fissure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is interesting. It's actually interesting. He would have he most likely would not have lived. I don't know how Yahweh would have done the math on that, because it's like the Grail like kind of calls at him, which is sort of what the Grail does. But at the same time, he's also like, I feel like Indiana Jones. He's playing on Yahweh's team. He's like the right guard or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't. I feel like there's, he's clearly chosen in so many ways in these movies. I don't know. If God would have killed him there. But without his father's help, he wouldn't have made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it kind of like at the end when he says, yes, sir, it's kind of nice because he says it without irony. Like he sort of I think, realizes his dad saved him in some ways, and he saved his dad in some ways. And they kind of...
Yeah, they're on a different footing now.
Yeah.
Is this going to change, how he approaches archaeology now?
Yeah, is he gonna? Maybe he's gonna give up archaeology and realize he was a terrible, terrible professor, and he's gonna go into like something else.
He's like, I seem to be really good at surviving things that nobody else can survive, so maybe I should just work on that somehow. I could be an acrobat. I could be like a spy. I don't know.
Actually, we learned later that he did become a spy, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
That was some nice dialogue about Indiana Jones being a spy. Okay, we'll get there.
I mean, well, what if he decides to get into family counseling?
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets out of the whole archaeology thing altogether.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, realize like I've been chasing this my whole life, and I mean, that's not where it's at. He is a complete metamorphosis or awakening.
That's going to be awkward though when he's sitting in his office and like a new client comes in and it's a grown up version of Short Round and they don't recognize each other.
What's interesting is in this shot, like they're all to the left of the sunset.
Hmm.
That's not that interesting.
No, it's not. No. But thank you.
Yeah. they eventually kind of pull.
Yeah.
They are they going to Alexandretta?
Well, it's weird because they're going west. So they're apparently going towards the coast, but it's like there are some cuts in here, so it's and they started in the morning and now it's night, so I was like maybe they're back on their way to Venice. Maybe they're in Texas, maybe they're in Utah, maybe they're going back to visit the old house. I don't know.
Right. They've just been riding across, like first they rode across the desert.
Yeah, they rode
riding across
a ship.
Europe. Yeah, they're just riding in circles on a boat.
Yeah.
It's
like that Ewan McGregor motorcycle documentary he did, The Long Way Round or whatever.
Yeah. Do we think for a second, and I actually have no idea, do we think that these four riders are John Rhys Davies, Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, and Denham Elliott? Or do we think there's no way they got the actors to do that and they just put some guys in some hats?
Yeah, I doubt it's them. I really...
I kind of doubt it's them too.
Although the Indy guy looks a lot like Indy. Which is because we've
there's
often been
obviously
able to tell.
not them about
Yeah.
No.
Well, Marcus seems a little bit obviously not him. But the other guys don't.
Just because he's upright and he's not vomiting or candy isn't bouncing out of his pockets or anything.
The cave
like
destruction
a Werther's
seems
original.
to us. Yeah. The cave has completely stopped destructing.
Oh.
Yeah, like the cave. I mean, as far as we can tell, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not. Nothing else is collapsing. It's all very nice and quiet.
It's been that way for a couple of minutes, I think. Like there was that plume of smoke as they came out, but then we didn't see or hear anything since then.
So is the knight dead in there and they're just leaving him his body, like crumbled body, or is he just like goes and pulls a lever on the wall and it's like, all right, reset it for the next guy, and like he's waiting for the next guy to come in a couple of weeks.
We've talked about that. I mean,
it's a sad topic of conversation. No matter what the answer is, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's Knight. I mean, what is interesting is the Ark of the Covenant goes up into the sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it does come back down, but the Grail goes down into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I kind of like to think that the knight just sort of like, if he could get his leg down there, he'd just kind of like tow it all the way down into the hole and just be like, all right, that's it.
Yep. Yeah, I like
did my
that.
time.
Yeah.
No, what Grail?
Yeah.
And then Elsa kind
die or
of
something.
reaches over and like half alive is like, hey. Takes a sip and then she's the new Grail Knight.
When Elsa fell down into the cave fissure, I was expecting a Boba Fett Sarlacc pit burp. I was. It was that kind of thing,
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get that.
Yeah.
I am surprised we didn't get that.
And then the credits start. The movie's over.
We get Maggie Cartier in the casting department. And while I think she did a great job, and I think the casting in all of these movies so far has been amazing, I feel like it was just a little weaker than Raiders and Temple of Doom as far as the casting. Mainly thinking of, maybe the guys on the train earlier.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very yeah.
It's hard to top the librarian. Like that. That's a feather in her cap that no one can take away.
Yeah. So see, would you
He's a funny
blame
looking guy.
would you blame the casting people? Would you blame the writing?
Yeah, I don't know.
In some case, I mean, we talked at length about what a kind of just straight out of a TV movie, like Fedora is. Like that's an example of like how no matter how the character is written, that guy just looks. He just kind of screams like kind of Indiana Jones light, or just like TV or something, or yeah. And nothing against the guy, but you know.
No, I like the guy.
I guess that would be the casting would be a little. You're a little underwhelmed there.
Do you think that's when they decided to make him not Abner? Like you think, maybe he won't be Abner.
Maybe like during filming, like, by the way, erase all mentions of Abner Ravenwood. It's just Fedora or something. Yeah.
Well, so to you guys, what does Abner look like?
Like a TV version of Indiana Jones, where
Stop it.
It's clear.
One of the casting people is Judy Taylor. That's my aunt.
Hey,
not that one, but still.
Was there a Sam and a Jody coming up?
I don't want to spoil anything, but no. I did every time. I forget if I did this for Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
but every time we sit through the end credits of a movie, we look for my name and Jody's and Sam's, and always find lots of Toms, usually a lot of Sam's, and almost never any Jody's.
Huh.
And this one I only found Toms, and I will point them out as we go because it's very important to me for some reason.
Well, we had second unit directors Michael Moore and Frank Marshall, and I was wondering if Gerry's still mad about Frank Marshall's magic caboose. But then I was thinking, like, what is like? You both seem to have kind of a hard time with this movie at various points, and I wanted to pose a question to both of you. What angered both of you? What infuriated both of you the most about this movie?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question.
That is a really good question. And I understand everybody be like, duh, we know what Gerry's going to say. And they would be right.
So don't even say it, even though I'm not sure what you were going to say.
Yeah, I can think of 20 things it could be.
Oh, wait, before you say, is it the night falling down and going boom?
No.
Is it just Marcus in general? Generally Marcus?
Yeah, it's just Marcus in general because it's basically the character. It's not, there were obviously some scenes like, I thought the plane through the tunnel mountain scene was a little, kind of took me out of the picture there, but that's just a scene. That's just a one scene. It's just one thing. Marcus was a character, and I really can appreciate people saying, well, listen, Gerry, maybe you gave him too much credit, or you imbued him with too much power and intelligence and, command, I guess. But, and that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
well, can you pick a moment though? Can you, out of all the Marcus stuff, is there a moment that just slapped you in the face harder than any of the others?
I really didn't understand the the train station scene. It was really that was weird.
That's also the first. That's when you're
like,
this is what they're doing with Marcus.
Yeah.
And also, look, the very end made no sense either, where he goes like, Indy, Henry, whatever he said, like, follow me. I know the way. Yeah. And you're just like, I have no idea if this guy's like, is he serious or is he like, just does he know where they are?
Yeah.
Just does he have any idea what happened? I mean, does he remember? I mean, at that point, I'd be like, oh, he's like suffering from dementia.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's,
a strong case could be made for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, for me, it's got to just, I mean, again, it might be obvious, but the stamp. The stamp is so dumb. The stamp is, and I wonder if I wouldn't hate the stamp as much if so many people just honestly loved it. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand that. I don't have anything against anybody who loves the stamp. Let me make that clear. I'm happy for you if you love the stamp, but I do not understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand the love. But
well, I think more interesting is Pete. What was the part of the movie that you felt was maybe the most unattractive?
See, I nothing about the movie infuriated me. And actually, the only thing that kind of made me mad was actually the two of you, as much as I love both of you. But it's not for perhaps the reason you might think. It's because I don't know if I have a realistic idea of what I feel about this movie, because I feel like I was constantly reacting to both of you about things you were saying to this movie, that I was constantly knee-jerk positive. And I wonder if I were doing this by myself, like if I were just watching this, if I would be as positive about all of these moments. I suspect I would not be as positive about some of the Marcus moments. And I think for me, if there's something that didn't work in this movie, it was Marcus.
Yeah. That was hard to navigate. I felt like I was like every single time they cut to him, you have to like, okay, is this cool or is this not cool? Like, is, you know, on a scale of F to A, like, you know, what are they doing with Marcus right now? And it was, it's like an unnatural way to watch a movie or to experience anything. And, but that's our job.
Yep.
We had to do that. And I think we did it well.
I like, though, that we had, I feel like we had 3 completely different opinions throughout most of the movie. Like, one of us really disliked a lot of parts of the movie. One of us really liked a lot of parts of the movie, and one was often in the middle. And I thought that made for a nice counterbalance for everything. Yeah.
Every once in a while, it'll be like 2 of us against 1, but not too often. Usually it was, we're all kind of a mix.
Yeah.
You know, what's really interesting getting here at the end is that if I really dug one layer deeper, I'd say, I guess what bothered me, you know, what chafed, was that they just the writers and directors, you know, Lucas and Spielberg did decide to go powder puff, and you know, once I say that and look at it and acknowledge that and accept it, then I don't really have any problems with the movie. It's consistent.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. Even if you do accept it, then you're like,
why?
They're still doing this stuff.
No, I know, but it's like,
once I realized that this was a terrible movie, I realized I could like it.
But like, if someone hands you a poo sandwich, you're like, okay, they intended to give me a sandwich made out of poo, and then you're like, it doesn't forgive the poo sandwich. It doesn't make the poo sandwich delicious or anything. You're like,
I don't like this comparison at all.
No.
Well, I'm just saying they were consistent through and through, and I want to acknowledge that. That's what I'm saying.
I want to acknowledge the movie's
consistent.
not a poo sandwich, by the way. Let me. That was pretty harsh, you know. But I'm
sure.
Yeah. No. I happen to enjoy this film.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, the parts that are enjoyable, which I find there are many.
Yeah.
That's what makes the other the other non-enjoyable parts like chafe more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we can
all
get into
it
that
is.
in the next couple episodes. We can talk about some of our bestest parts.
Yeah.
In fact, do we have anything else for this one, for 121?
No.
I just, the only thing I actually really like the name Alex Hyde White. It's
that
just
is good.
It's a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Alex Hyde White.
Yeah.
Sounds like a football player.
It does. Or I was thinking, I painted houses for 5 years. It's kind of like Alex Hyde White.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you
the customer doesn't want to see that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or it's a kind of white. Oh, Alex Hyde.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Hyde White.
Alex
kind of an
Hyde
eggshell
White.
or an Alex Hyde. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Alex Hyde.
Well, all right. We're riding off into the sunset. We got to pace ourselves so the horses don't get all overheated and stuff.
Oh, is there no boopity boop beepity?
Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
Wow, there's a boopity boop, and it's actually it's a.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's a gallop.
Oh.
This just in, galloping across the wires from Professor Chrissy Porter. Let me hang on a second. Let me.
Oh
no, it's a Pony Express.
Why do these guys start at a full gallop?
That's a rescue mission at first. They're trying to catch up to Marcus.
To Barcus,
and save him.
Yeah.
To Barcus.
Is that what it
Get
is?
back on your horse, Marcus.
Is that what? Is
Yeah.
that? Wow,
Yeah.
that's a great answer. I didn't. Okay.
It's right there in the text of the film.
I guess Marcus kicks it off by going, "Follow me."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish they were all this easy.
Yeah, I know. Keep them coming,
Didn't hurt my
Dr.
head
Porter.
at all. Yeah, come on. Well, all right. We were going to come back tomorrow, and you should too, for minute 122. And yeah, we're winding this thing up. We're in the final week of Last Crusade, which is bittersweet for all of us. But if you want more of us and of the things we do, we remind you that we've got the bonus show over on Patreon at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. Over there, you can support the show for a low recurring monthly fee and a nice donation to help us out over here. And in exchange, you'll get you can get stickers, you can get postcards from us right to your house. You can get mainly the bonus show, Anything Goes, where we are discussing other movies and comic books and things. And what else, Pete?
And well, Gerry was just talking about the guy in the tunnel, the airplane going through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And after we recorded those minutes, we talked about 1941 on the weekend show.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems like that scene would have fit perfectly in 1941.
Yeah, 1941 was like it was like a 2-hour version
that was like
of that moment.
2 hours of
Yeah.
that scene.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So if you want to hear how all these other Spielberg or Spielbergian films all connect with each other and create a massive unified theory of film, you might be coming to the wrong place, but you might begin to glean possible connections like that if you join us over there at Patreon. And in the meantime, yeah, just come back tomorrow right here. Same bad time, same bad channel for minute 122 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Do it, Jer.
Yeah, do it. Do it, Jer. Do it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You don't think he's talking to him? After you, Junior.
No.
No.
Okay.